on the interruption, but I'm like, Wilbon, tell me. A message in a bottle washed up in Australia after 109 years at sea. I'm Tony Kornheiser. It was written by a young UV Brown. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. No, I don't believe these message in a bottle stories. They're even more fraudulent than the Florida Man stories. I believe this. I believe something could be in a bottle for 109 years. I believe that's possible. Yeah, welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Dave Roberts makes lineup changes, Michael Jordan criticizes load management, and Steve Young joins us for 5 minutes. But we begin today with the World Series being tied 2-2 after Toronto beat the Dodgers last night 6-2. This was a rather dull game in comparison to the 18-inning thriller of Game 3 that the Dodgers won. Shohei Ohtani started for the Dodgers last night, gave up a 2-run home run to Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the 3rd inning to put Toronto ahead 2-1. Toronto got 4 more runs in the 7th inning, chasing Ohtani and pounding a couple of Dodgers relievers. Wilbon, what do you think of how this one played out? Tony, I only care about one of the things. And yes, I went in caring about Shohei, came out not caring about Shohei. It was great that he went out there after what happened the previous night when he had to be exhausted and pitched pretty darn well. But Tony, this game is about Toronto's resilience. And resilience is one of those words that's so overused in sports, but the disappointment, the crushing disappointment of that 18-inning loss. You gotta sit there. You're in LA still. You didn't go back. You're still in LA. You gotta go back out to Dodger Stadium to play that game the way they did, to get the starting pitching, to get the home run from Vlad Jr. It's all about Toronto and a standing ovation for me, from the way they responded to what had to be maybe the most crushing loss, I don't know, in franchise history. Yeah, I mean, I am not surprised at the outcome of the game, and I also expected it to be not as tension-filled as the night before, and it was not. But I tip my hat to Toronto, and I will say on the air, you said yesterday you thought Toronto needed that game more than the Dodgers, and they got that game. And they went to their old formula to get that game. Toronto as a team comes back in games where they fall behind. They were down 1-0 yesterday early, but they were down 1-0 on the road. They win games, when they're down in the series. They were down 2-0 and 3-2 to Seattle in that series. They were down, obviously, 2-1 in this series. That's why, Toronto, I'll take your word resilience. They have that. They're a very good team. You cannot count them out, which may explain why there was a quote last night referencing Herb Brooks and a team of uncommon men. I'm just looking at the notes here. My joy in that game, I don't want to go too long, was to see Ohtani against Guerrero. The first time it was 3 pitches, Mike, and he struck him out in the 1st inning. The second time, Guerrero parked it in the left field seats, and then there was a line out. I mean, these are the 2 biggest stars in the World Series, and to go head-to-head like that was something very exciting for me to see. Yeah, and those are the matchups, the classic matchups, Charlie, we remember over time, particularly from World Series. Let's move to tonight's Game 5, yes, still in LA. Blue Jays rookie Trey Savage will take the mound against the Dodgers' Blake Snell in a rematch of Game 1. And with several Dodgers struggling at the plate in the series, Dave Roberts made changes to the lineup. Will Smith moves up to the number 2 hole, Mookie drops to 3rd, Andy Paez is out, with Alex Call taking over his spot, number 9. Tom, you think these changes are going to make a difference for the Dodgers tonight? So I'm happy with the change that gets Alex Call into the lineup and playing the outfield somewhere. I watched him when he was on the Washington Nationals. He's a very good contact hitter. He's a fine fielder. And let's be fair about Paez for a second, okay? 1 for 15 in the World Series and 4 for 50 in the playoffs. How much of a larger sample size do you need? I would not necessarily change anyone else because everybody else is why you're in Game 5 of the World Series. But would I be concerned about Mookie Betts being, 3 for 19 in the World Series? Would I be concerned that the Dodgers' run production is a full half run less than it was in the regular season, that their batting average is 10 points less than it was in the regular season. Look, like, I think the Dodgers need to win this one. Because this series is going back to Toronto. And Toronto is a good team at home. Toronto won the last 2 games at home to win the ALCS. Toronto won the first game, of the World Series here. I do think the Dodgers have to win this one in the way that you thought Toronto had to win last night. Yeah, I think the Dodgers need to win this game, but I don't think those numbers make any difference. They're playing against better pitching. It's the World Series. It's not May 3rd against the Rockies. It's the numbers are supposed to come down, and they have. So changing the batting order, Shohei was 1 for 21 at a point. They had to take him out. So Mookie Betts can find it. I guarantee he's working on it. He's looking at film. He's in the cage. He might get some outside consultation. Of course, this is what the World Series is. It's best on best. So I agree with you on Cole, who's like 4 for 9 or something like that so far in the postseason. I agree, get him in there. Do I think they're going to make a major difference because they shuffled the deck? The chairs on the deck? No, I don't. Guys, the major difference. Better. The major difference could come from Blake Snell. I don't think he's going to give up 5 runs like he did in Game 1, and I don't think he's going to take about 30 pitches to get out of the first inning like he did. But he's got to go 7 or 8, Mike, because the Dodgers' true bullpen was revealed last night. He's got to go 7 or 8, or I don't think they have a chance. Let's move to Michael Jordan expressing his disregard for load management in an interview with NBC's Mike Tirico. Jordan said he never did it. He wanted to be out there every game he could. He wanted to prove his worth to everyone that was watching. Wilbon, what do you make of Jordan's remarks? I've known of these remarks for 40 years. I've known of his feelings for 40 years. It's a great conversation, and it's a great one to have with Tirico. I'm glad NBC's doing them, and people who aren't as familiar with Jordan, younger audiences, get to be familiar with how Michael Jordan feels about the important elements of basketball. But this ain't breaking news, alright? All of the players of that era, all the guys on the Dream Team, yes, I'll speak for all of them. They think load management is garbage, because most of them went out there and they played 80 or more as often as they could. Michael did it, that's right, all the time. So no, those guys knew that even the money paid then, which is a pittance of what is being paid to see a game now, people paid real money. They wanted to see them. They didn't want to hear that some trainer said you should be out. I don't want to hear that excuse. Jordan played like it was Broadway. You were going to the theater and you got him, not the understudy. I totally agree with this. I mean, who is surprised that Michael Jordan doesn't like load management? He played 80 games or 82 games every single year. Right? Nobody in their right mind would compare him to Kawhi Leonard or Joel Embiid. Michael Jordan studied the NBA that was being paced by Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, who never missed a game. So he was never going to miss a game. He used a very interesting word in the interview, though, and he used the word entertainment. Michael Jordan appreciates that professional sports is entertainment. He appreciates the obligation that he had, and they all have, to the people who, buying tickets, even the people in the nosebleed section. Well, Michael Jordan didn't think that basketball was just about basketball players, and he understood there were fans there, and that by and large does not happen today. Today, people just think it's all about tennis players. Look at the game they're playing, just that game, and they look at the money they're making. And it's a little bit different now. So I mean, obviously you and I are going to applaud Michael Jordan, because nobody cares about the fans anymore. The guys are playing. Most of them, not all, but most of them. Let's take a break. Still to come, Drake May is great at going deep. We ask Steve Young what it takes to have that success. We also ask him about Carson Wentz, saying he never pulled himself out of the game. Tony, you know what? Trainers and team physicians and all that have something to say. Michael Jordan stared those guys down when they told him he wasn't going to play. He said, get out of here. Get out of here. It was like Matt Scherzer telling a manager to get away from the mound. We've got NFL questions for our great friend, the man who refused to be my placeholder when I kicked for the Los Angeles Express, Los Angeles quarterback Steve Young. who looks like he's going to lead a bunch of people up a mountain in 15 minutes. Let's start with this. Carson Wentz got battered last week. He is now out for the year. He said today he was fine being left in the game, and as a competitor, was not going to remove himself from the game. What would it feel like, Steve, to remove yourself from the game?
Well, you gotta be super careful, Tony, because the quarterback is paid way more than everybody else, gets all the attention, and you're in a really tight spot where you need to be the toughest guy, at least the image of the toughest guy in the field, so you can gather people every week to come fight for you. And so as a quarterback, you can't beg off the field. Yes, you can. Now, people get hurt, and you gotta manage through that, but as a quarterback especially, you've got to be able to show everyone that you're willing to do whatever it takes to stay on the field, and that's what Carson's really, his knee-jerk reflex is, I'm staying on the field. This is, I'm not coming out. I might be out for the season, but I'm still have the adrenaline running me, and I can stay in for a little longer, and people actually on the team respect that. That's just the way football runs.
Steve, while Carson Wentz was dealing with the physical pain, Justin Fields was dealing with some emotional pain, and revealed that he found himself on the floor of his closet, crying and praying for just one win, which was difficult to hear. How'd that strike you?
I mean, it's super vulnerable, right? Which I appreciate. It resonates. The pain of losing, and you got the owner jabbing at him, you got the coach who won't commit to him, your teammates are staring at you. I remember times when, you had to go to the grocery store in line, and the clerk's like, ladies like, what are you there for? And I lost the young shots. And then you get on the radio, and you're going home, you're listening, you're on the song that ends, you're like, what are you there for? I lost the young shots. It's like, where can I go to be safe? And the closet might be the safest place to go, right? Because I remember I finally turned to the classical station, because I'm like, they don't care about the 49ers on the classical station. And then Box Overture number 5 ends, and it's like, what are you for? Steve Gonzalez. You're like, there's nowhere you can go. And so in some ways, it's very metaphorical, and what he had to go to the closet to cry, because that's how painful it was. And that does resonate. I mean, it seems weird, but I can see how that can, things get that hard.
Let's go to a happier quarterback question. When I ask about Drake May and his success throwing the deep ball, not everybody, even quarterbacks who are pretty damn good, have success connecting deep, Steve. What's the secret sauce?
There are quarterbacks who are very, accuracy is in my mind, you can be slightly more accurate by looking at accuracy, but you either have a gift of accuracy or you don't. And along the edges you can get slightly better. And the really most accurate quarterbacks that will throw with their fingers, their fingertips, at the end of the throw, they've still got that ability to kind of guide and direct. And I call finger throwers, right? And then there's arm throwers. And it's, I know you'd be like, what's the difference? You can see it. It's like the whole arm is kind of, their fingers aren't really as fine-tuned. I don't know how else to put it. Drake May, the long ball, the short ball, the crossing route, all part of accuracy. And usually if you're really accurate like Drake is, then you're going to be accurate on the long ball. Because if you see him, think about it, the best, as he does the long ball, his fingers right at the end are the guide. And that's how he comes out of the swing. You can almost see it smoother. Justin Herbert's smoother. And that's that accuracy. That's where your fingers are really in control. Where if you're arm throwing, your fingers never really get in the space with the ball to kind of guide it. You're never as accurate. You never will be in as much as you work at it.
It's fascinating. You want to get a master class in that. Honestly, it's just fascinating. Let me get to the last question. Lamar Jackson is coming off a hamstring injury tomorrow night. As a mobile quarterback, how can you trust that the hamstring will be there for you when you need it?
I never had a hamstring. Knock on wood. I'm too old to try to get one now, but I think you talk about elite athletes that their body has been their tool since they were little, so the connection, your brain kind of feels like, how does it feel now? It's not right, it's not right, it's not right. And so when you finally get, and look, physical therapy, athletic trainers and rehabilitation, they're really good at this kind of stuff. They test, and they can test the muscle and kind of see that it's ready to kind of get tested on the field. But as you know, nobody can replicate what's happening on the field. Now, I think with Lamar, He's becoming such a more sophisticated passer. I'm loving the transformation I'm watching. That he can protect his hamstring. He doesn't have to. He'll be more normal, more human now. He won't be superhuman speed. And that's fine for Lamar's game. Just get back there, tear him up with the throws, and then he'll still be able to move around. But you never know. You get in the game, Tony, and you make a move like, oh no, not again. Like it does happen, and you gotta be careful.
Pleasure as always, Steve. Thank you so much for being with us.
Tony, I would explain the story to you if you wanted to come up the mountain with me.
One week with a tie, and this week going up the mountain. Let's take one
It's a long
last
story. I have a long, deep story that I can tell you. It's a sad story of why I don't have a tie right now, but I just let it be for this one. Just give me the pass. Give me the whole pass.
It's okay, you got it. When we come back, Wilbon and I get into last night's frozen frenzy. And the Bucks were at home, but Giannis still traveled to get the win over the Knicks last night. Tony, Steve did conduct the master class for 15 years. 15 years, it's really something.
Pardon the interruption is presented by the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 38th birthday, Andy Dalton. Dalton was a second-round pick out of TCU by the Bengals in the 2011 draft. In his first 4 seasons, Dalton went to the playoffs. Cincinnati didn't win any of those games, but it looked like Dalton could be a star. He stayed with Cincinnati through 2019, but they were no longer a playoff team. Dalton was 2-11 as a starter that year. Then he went to Dallas, where he mostly backed up Dak Prescott. Dalton went 4-5 as the Cowboys starter when Prescott got hurt. Dalton went from Dallas to Chicago, from Chicago to New Orleans, from New Orleans to Carolina, where he has backed up Bryce Young, though he's 1-6 as a starter there, including the loss last Sunday to Buffalo. It is a long, lucrative career, if not a glorious one. Now, but Tony, if you're coachable, and you can play some, you can stick around as a backup quarterback and hold that clipboard for more than 15 years. There's so many examples of it, Andy Dalton certainly does. Yeah, do you remember from Chicago at all? Oh, sure. For Justin Fields. Backup Justin Fields, absolutely. Right. Happy anniversary, Klay Thompson. On this day 7 years ago, Thompson broke Steph Curry's NBA record by hitting 14 threes in only 27 minutes of playing time in an early season beatdown of your Bulls. Thompson tied the NBA record for threes in one half with 10, and Golden State set another with 17 threes in the first half. Steve Kerr later said, quote, I didn't realize what was happening record-wise. Then I heard Klay say, two more. That's when I realized I didn't know who held the record, so I asked Steph, do you have the record? And he goes, yeah. At that point, the guys are just feeding Klay every time, unquote. Thompson left the Warriors for the Mavericks last season. He is struggling now, averaging just 9 points and shooting 28.6% from 3. Those numbers are totally unfamiliar for Klay Thompson. I root for Klay Thompson. I know he can pull out of this. I hope he has another year plus of greatness in him, Tony, because I think the Mavericks, despite all the turmoil to the last year, I think they're on to something, but Klay Thompson's got to be a real part of that whole deal. So you don't think he's done? You don't think that? Tony, I'm biased. I hope he isn't. I hope there's another burst. It's early. He can shoot himself out of there. We've seen him do it. Sure. Happy trails to the NHL's frozen frenzy. All 32 teams were in action last night, and Wilbon, I will start by highlighting yours. The Blackhawks beat the Senators behind Connor Bedard's first NHL hat trick. Jack Eichel scored twice on his birthday as the Golden Knights beat the Hurricanes. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid combined for 3 goals as the Oilers gave them Mammoth and L, and Bobby Brink showed off some smooth stick work as the Flyers topped the Penguins in a shootout. How about that? We talked hockey. Australian Blackhawks had 7 goals last night. I'm a little worried that it would take Connor Bedard this long into the career to come up with his first hat trick, but it's early, he's young, and let's go Blackhawks. Yeah, I tuned in for a little while, honestly, because I wanted to see Sidney Crosby. Because I think Sidney Crosby's one of the 10 greatest players of all time, and I just want to see him. Let's go to the big finish. Giannis and the Bucks beat the Knicks. Is that significant? Well, they were 0 for 3 against the Knicks last year. You want to keep that up in conference? You don't. So it is a big deal. The Lions and Aiden Hutchinson agreed to a 4-year contract extension. Is that a big deal?
It's $141 million guaranteed. It's the highest non-quarterback guarantee in football. Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco has a shoulder issue. He's up in the air against the Bears on Sunday. Your thoughts?
He just lost to a backup quarterback last week in Baltimore, so I'm not going to start throwing a party yet. Steve Kerr says Jonathan Kuminga has earned a starting role moving forward. He's surprised by that.
I am a little bit. I sort of thought he was trade bait over the summer, and I sort of thought they didn't get along all that with the person. So yeah, I'm a little surprised. Last one, your 3-0 Bulls host the Kings. You're smelling another win.
I am, Tony. I love what I've seen. Small sample size from pace and defense and a young core, even without Kobe White, is playing really well. So I know DeRozan and Levine are going to want some revenge exactly, but I feel good about the Bulls right now.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time on Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon saying time tomorrow, knuckleheads. And now, here's Ernie Kitty Shaq.